Well, good afternoon, everybody. If it's a Friday, it's All Things Advocacy with AARP North Dakota. I am Josh Askvig, State Director for AARP North Dakota. With me, as always, is Janelle Mose. Janelle, how are you?
Hey Josh, I'm good. It's good to see you. It's been a long time since we sat together and had this conversation.
It's been a few years, hasn't it? So,
It
but
has.
but I'm excited about it. I bet you are as well.
I am because you know what we're here for? It is the most wonderful time of the year, right?
So I'm presuming with all the snow, you're talking about the holidays, right, Janelle?
No, you know me. No,
I
I'm
do
talking
know
about
you.
the legislative session.
Yes.
We are really just a few short weeks away from the North Dakota legislature meeting every other year, and they're about to kick off their 68th legislative session on January 3rd.
Well, that's exciting, and I know we're both excited as well to get back up there and fight for our policy priorities. And with that, why don't you just jump right into what are our policy priorities heading into the 2023 legislative session?
You know what it means for our members and friends and those of us that follow AERP North Dakota. We'll be working hard on four priorities that all of you told us were most important to you. So, number one, bringing down the cost of prescription drugs. Number two, supporting caregivers and home and community based services, meaning you can stay in your home and community longer as you age. Preventing and protecting North Dakotans from fraud, and also looking at protecting the PERS retirement benefits.
Yeah, I think a lot of the things we do, and just to be clear for our viewers and those watching, those aren't the only four items that we're going to work on. It's just the most of the time and effort we'll spend are going to be within those four areas as part of it. One of the things we also wanted to do to get you ready for the 2023 legislative session was let you know a little bit about how we're going to communicate with you all and how you can stay engaged with AARP and the work we're doing to try and fight for better public policy for older adults in North Dakota. And so the first of which is if you're watching this right now, every Friday starting in January, January 6th, I believe is the first one at 2:30 p.m. Central, we're going to be live on youtube.com on our AARP North Dakota channel doing all things advocacy, talking about what has happened this past week, what's coming up next week, and what can you do to help push for the changes that we're talking about during the North Dakota legislative session. Second is every Friday, Janelle and Marnie and I collaborate and get an email out through our advocacy email system that gives you some of the same information. It'll also link you to the full version of the All Things Advocacy update and also gives you kind of a written synopsis, a little bit of what's happened. If you don't get those advocacy emails, aarp.org/get involved is where you can sign up for those. So if you don't get our normal action alerts that we've been sending all year about how to vote, where to vote, some of those things, if you haven't seen those in your inbox, encourage you to sign up for those emails because while we were using them to tell you how to vote, will be instead, and when I say tell you how to vote, how to make sure you can go cast your ballot, not who to vote for. We don't ever do that. We're a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization who doesn't do that. We try and help you understand how to cast your ballot. Instead, we'll flip those over to here's the work we're doing and here's how you can get in contact with your legislators. In addition, that same system, it might not be on a Friday if something's happened on a Tuesday and we need your help talking to your legislators. We send out what we call action alert emails, which is, hey, this is happening right now. We need your help and support right now. And I do want to emphasize, and I know Janelle and I have talked about this when we were doing our pre-legislative session get-togethers, the couple that happened in person and a couple online. Uh, Legislators really want to hear from you as constituents. Janelle and I spend a lot of time up there. They know who we are. They don't mind talking to us, but they really want to talk to you all and hear from you all. And then last but not least, we have a page on our AARP North Dakota website dedicated to our advocacy work, aarp.org/ND advocacy. Marnie on our team has committed to keeping that up to date as possible as we go through the legislative session. So, Janelle, now that we've shared a little bit about how we're going to stay in touch and how folks can stay in touch with us, the legislature's actually technically gotten rolling. So do you want to talk about what happened? It says this week, but it actually was 2 weeks ago, and where things are at.
Yeah, you're right. The organizational session was December 5th through the 7th. So that's a time when legislators come into Bismarck, they get a lot of training. Committee assignments are made. They take the oath of office, both if they're newly elected or incumbents. So it's really a busy time, and it's a great time for legislators to just get familiar with the process, figure out where they're going to sit, you know, where their committee rooms are, and we were able to have some good conversations with leadership, early on, just letting them know, hey, these are the priorities for AARP North Dakota and what we're going to be looking at trying to make some progress on, including the prescription drugs and consumer fraud work. But it's a really great time. But it's going to be a busy, very interesting session. And the reason I say that is there's 41 new legislators this session. There's new leadership in the House and in the Senate, and there's 13 new chairs of committees in both the House and the Senate. So it's really going to be both a challenging, but there's tremendous opportunities out there that we can really look to start to make some significant policy changes and impacts for folks 50 and older.
I think the other thing, and you didn't talk about it yet, but it's mentioned on the slide here, is we also got a little bit of a sneak peek in terms of what might be coming forward in terms of appropriations changes and where some funding enhancements that can support older adults might be. Because the governor gave his budget address. Any quick highlights you want to give from what we heard in the governor's budget address?
A couple of things that really stood out to both you and I when we were listening to the governor's address was that he's putting some enhancements and some funding behind supporting home and community-based services. So again, what that means for you is that you can live in your home longer. It means that you have the supports that you need if you're a caregiver, or if there's other funding to support the staff that can really bolster and make sure that if you want to stay in your home, that you can do that, and there's supports that allow you to do that, and funding. So that was really exciting to hear. We're still digging through the details. We're not exactly sure what that's going to look like, but that's a big step forward to making sure that one of our priorities is supported in the governor's budget.
Absolutely. So let's flip the calendar forward. The slide says what's happening next week. It's actually not next week. We have a few weeks yet, thankfully. Some of us are going to get a little bit of vacation in and recharge before we get going again. But let's just talk about when the legislature starts. When's that going to happen, and what really happens kind of that first week of the session?
As you can see on the screen, the session officially starts January 3rd, 2023. The first week is uh, a lot of big ceremonial things. So you've got, the governor's state of the state, you've got the state of the tribe, state of the judiciary. It's really a time where folks can learn, what is going on in the state, and what is the future, and what do each of those groups want forward for the state. So I think it's really an excellent time. Committees will start to meet and just get to know each other. They'll get to know the process of, where they'll meet, what the chair has in terms of their plan for moving forward with bills. But things really ramp up after that. I mean, we anticipate that the prescription drug bill that we've been working on during the interim, we anticipate that will be heard in committee really that second full week of the legislature. So we'd like to say that it starts slow and you can really ease into the process, but that first week after we get, you know, um, the state of the state and really get a sense of the committees, we're off and running after that.
Yeah, when you only have 80 days every 2 years, there's not a lot of time to sit around. Things move very quickly and very fast. So, with that, Janelle, we've got the ability for folks to take action and asking them to do something before the end of the year. You want to tell them a little bit about what we got set up?
We do. Like I said, we're really excited. We have a bill that will be considered that first couple weeks in the legislature. It's going to start to really build on the conversation we started last year about how can we help to lower prescription drugs. So as you can see on the slide, we're encouraging you to go to aarp.org/ND advocacy. There's a petition there that you can sign, and we're going to share those petitions with legislatures, with the legislators, to let them know, hey, we have consumers that are really concerned about the high cost of drugs. They've signed this petition. They really want to see you take action. And this is the best way to do it is going to that website and making sure that your name is added to that petition.
And if you sign the petition, you can also share it with a friend, right? Tell your neighbor, tell a friend, tell somebody you know who cares about this issue to sign it as well. And I would be remiss. Hopefully, folks have seen it. And I know the slide is how to get a hold of us, but some of the other stuff we've been doing is trying to raise additional awareness with folks. We've got billboards running, we've got digital ads running, helping folks to try and sign that petition. So if you see it, share it with a friend. Make sure they know about it if this is an issue that's important to them. And we're starting with prescription drugs because we know that's going to happen very quickly out of the chute of the legislative session. So, with that, you can always reach out to me at my email, which is on the screen, jaskvig@aarp.com, or my desk phone number there, 701-355-3642, or get a hold of Janelle. With that, Janelle, anything else we need to cover before we get out of here and start trying to get loose ends wrapped up before the session starts?
No, like you said, loose ends. We're already busy planning, and we're looking forward to sharing all the great opportunities and information with folks as we head into the session in January.
Yeah, I just want to wrap up this with saying it's great to be back. It feels really good to be back doing all things advocacy. I'm actually looking forward to, just so our viewers know, we're in separate places right now because we've been working from home, weathering the storm as it comes. But the next time you see us, knock on wood, Janelle and I will actually be sitting side by side again, which will be a little bit different for us to do, but excited to do that and be side by side. So with that, happy holidays to everyone. We're excited to get back to the fight and work with the legislature to make adjustments. So with that, have a great, wonderful rest of your weekend and holidays. Bye.